Hi everyone and welcome back to the FPL Family YouTube channel. It's Thursday, so it's top points picks day. The top points picks, remember, are the players per position that I think will score the highest number of FPL points in the upcoming game week. So last time around we were looking for a defender, a midfielder and a forward. In the comments last week we had somebody ask if it would be possible to go through the picks from last week and say how well they did or didn't do. So let's have a little look then at the points from last week. So in defence last time around I had Luke Shaw. Again, this one's a bit of a frustrating one really because got a 0-pointer, went off on the 33rd minute having been booked and then got injured, which is now making him a doubt for the upcoming game week this weekend. But had it not been from the injuries to Luke Shaw and then of course later on in that game to Harry Maguire, the clean sheet might have potentially stood were it not then obviously for that late last minute goal pretty much from Aston Villa. So it's a bit of a disappointing one. I still think that could have been a good pick, but hey, wasn't to be. In midfield then we had Salah, 7 points for Salah. Wasn't the top point scoring midfielder for last week, but he didn't do too badly, could have actually done so much better than he did. Had so many opportunities during the course of that game against Brentford. But yeah, just didn't really get the level of returns that I would have kind of hoped that he would have done, if you like. So the top points scoring midfielder last week was actually Saka from Arsenal, who got 13 points last time around. And then up top, we had Mikel Antonio, returned 8 points last week, was a decent return from him. But again, he wasn't the top point scoring forward last time around. He was third, got the bronze medal for forwards last week, but it was Jamie Vardy who was top with 11. And then Neil Maupay on the Monday evening game getting those 9 points against Crystal Palace. But both Salah and Antonio were good picks. They both returned well. Unfortunately, Luke Shaw couldn't make it a hat-trick of decent picks last time around. Now, one of the other comments that we had last time was, please could we add goalkeepers to this video? Goalkeepers, to be honest, wasn't something that I'd thought about doing in this one, simply because for most people, myself included, goalies are a transfer that you rarely make. You might do it on wildcard, but rarely do you make a goalie change. But it does seem this year that some people are making or looking to make a change from having a really cheap goalkeeper to maybe going for one of the more premium ones. And so I'm going to add goalies into these videos just in case you are looking for a new goalie. So let's start there then with the goalkeeper of choice this week. So I think the top point scoring goalkeeper this time around will be Mendy from Chelsea. Now, of course, he is going to cost you 6 million. He is one of the most expensive goalkeepers in the game and he is currently owned by 12.4%. But Chelsea and Mendy himself has only conceded 2 goals so far this season and has kept 3 clean sheets. Obviously missed a game versus Tottenham through injury and Kepa played in his place then. Southampton also, though, their opposition this time around have only managed 6 big chances so far this season. That's one of the fewest in the league. Only Norwich have actually managed less than they have and they've managed 5. Southampton are tied with Spurs, who have also only managed 6 big chances so far. I think there's some really good potential here for Mendy to get that clean sheet locked in. And of course, with a player like Mendy, there is always good distribution from him and therefore the potential for some upside too is definitely there. There is some save potential there too, because actually when I was looking at the goalkeepers and thinking, well, who might be the top scoring keeper this week? You are looking for somebody that's likely to get more than just the 6 points. Now, Southampton have been quite solid defensively, so is it likely that they are going to concede lots and lots of goals? Maybe not. They're also kind of mid-tabling in terms of the chances that they are creating, so that might give Mendy the ability for some save points, of course, in that one too. There wasn't another goalkeeper that I thought had more potential for multiple points on top of just that clean sheet. So we're going with Mendy as the goalkeeper of choice for this week. Moving into defence then. Now, I didn't want to just stay with Chelsea because that feels a bit boring, but of course the likes of Alonso, Azpilicueta, Rudiger could easily be part of this, but having already gone with Mendy in the goalie position, I am actually going to switch over to Wolves. Now, Semedo is a player that I've had in my top points picks in the past, and he's also been a jammy pick in the past. He is 4.9 million and he's only owned by 3.6% of the game. Now, this game against Newcastle that he has this week always ends 1-1, always. In fact, it is the game with the fewest clean sheets across the Premier League in total. There's been 12 games, no clean sheets at all in that. But of course, that doesn't allow for the fact that Newcastle will be without Callum Wilson this time around, and they have not been good going forward. It's been pretty much the St Maximin show or nothing when it comes to Newcastle attack-wise. So there is potential, I think, for a clean sheet this time around, which would ruin that Premier League record. But I think there is potential there for Semedo to get a clean sheet this time around. It's also worth noting that only 3 defenders have had more penalty area touches so far this season than Semedo has. And Wolves have conceded fewer shots than everyone else in the Premier League, bar Manchester City. So there is a good chance of a clean sheet, and there is a good chance of some attacking returns for Semedo. We saw him just drop out of the bonus points as well last time around for his clean sheet against Southampton in game week 6. So I do think that there is plenty of opportunity for upside with Semedo here. He is one of the most attacking defenders in the game, apart from maybe Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is a serious doubt for the weekend. Semedo is right up there with attacking threat. So for me, he is the one that I think will be the highest scoring defender this time around. Moving into midfield then, and we are going cheap. Now normally I go Salah or one of the more expensive premium options in this position, but actually this time around I'm going with Ismaila Sarr. Going to cost you 6.3 million and is owned by 16.7% of the game, with the exception of the forward, who I'll get to in a minute. He is the most highly owned of the 4 picks that I have for this week. Sarr has managed back-to-back returns in the Premier League in the last 2 matches and has 3 goals in the last 2 weeks. Of course, that brace a couple of game weeks ago, followed by a goal last week. He is facing a Leeds side who have conceded more shots than any other team with 112, and also the most shots on target conceded by any team is by Leeds, with 40 conceded so far already. We don't yet know if Ayling is going to be available or not to play against Watford, but if he doesn't, that only strengthens the appeal of Ismaila Sarr. Now, of course, going forward, the fixtures do start to turn a little bit for Watford after this one, with Liverpool coming up after the international break. But I do think Sarr has got really good potential this week to get some really, really nice points returns. Of everybody, I think his fixture is the nicest when it comes to potential to score goals. I don't think that Watford will necessarily keep that clean sheet because they haven't been solid either. But we've seen real weakness from that Leeds defence, and therefore I suspect that Sarr could, if he wants to, have a bit of a Sarr party, and he could do really well in this upcoming game week. And of course, then going into the forward position, there isn't really anyone else to pick this week in my mind other than Romelu Lukaku. Going to cost you 11.7 million now. Has had a couple of price rises since he arrived in the Premier League with Chelsea and is now owned by 34.4% of the games. He is going to hurt you if you go into this game week without him and he performs. He has blanked in the last 2 game weeks in the Premier League and also, of course, in the Champions League, where Chelsea didn't really impress me. They didn't create a lot of opportunities in that game. But he has registered 15 opportunities in his 5 games that he has played and has 3 goals to show for those 15 opportunities. Only Vardy and Antonio have more goals in the Premier League this season than Lukaku does. I think this is a nice fixture for him. Southampton have been solid defensively, but they have been gettable, and we've seen that in the Premier League so far. We have potential here for Lukaku to do really well, and he is a player that if you are looking to bring him in ahead of this week, you would absolutely want to keep for this really lovely run of fixtures, and he might be a player that appears quite regularly on these top points picks videos over the next few game weeks or so. So just to have a little recap then, in goal with our new goalie top points pick, we have at Chelsea's Mendy. In defence then we have Wolves' Semedo. In midfield we have Watford's Ismaila Sarr, and then of course up top we have Chelsea's Romelu Lukaku. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you think they will be the top points picks for the upcoming game week, or do you think there are better options available? I do think those Chelsea defenders might give Semedo a run for his money, but couldn't really go 3 Chelsea players in this video. It would have been a bit Chelsea overkill, I think. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you have enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. Leave me a comment in the description below. And of course, if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. And I will see you on Sunday with Lee to review the current game week. Thanks, guys.